As soon as you enter those caves, it's a fridge that is on a pretty low temperature. You're counting your time underground, basically, because depending what you do, you can't stay too long. If you don't move, you're gonna freeze. Most of people, they are like, oh my God, like a cave, this is so creepy. Because you've never experienced something like that.
What are the most attractive features of caves? Oh, of course, the mystery. Where does it go? What's inside it? Is there a treasure trove? Scientific interest? The adventure. Most cavers got into the game because of the adventure. They wanted to frighten themselves a bit, especially when the walls close in and it's in the dark and you may lose your light. Can I do it? Am I brave enough? What's down there? What's around the next bend?
There's something really magical about being the first person to ever put a footprint into the ground or not knowing what's at the bottom of that waterfall. There's just something that just grabs my curiosity.
There's clearly something deep in the human psyche about trying to see what's around the next corner, to try and explore, see what has never been seen before. It's like this enticing possibility that you will be the first one, you'll find something new.
Born and raised in Calgary, near the mountains with a decent job and access to so much backcountry that has not been explored. My free time, it's almost 100% like a full-time job, is caving.
Hey, welcome to Bisaro.
Bisaro, Anima is a cave near Fernie. We found the cave in 2012. All right. And the unique things are the big drops at the very beginning. You come up to an edge and you're looking over, and the first thing you do is throw a rock. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, boom! And it's like, holy shit.
It's super exciting when you find a cave and you're fairly confident that it's the first time anybody's explored it. You're wondering is this the big cave that we've been looking for? 10 years later, I can tell you that this is a big one.
The person who finds the cave gets to name the cave.
We settled on the name Bisaro Anima, which has sort of taken on a World War I and World War II theme. The mountain was named for Private Turindo Bisaro, who was Fernie's first war hero, and Anima is Italian for inner soul, spirit, so it's kind of a name that describes how we're sort of searching the inner soul of the mountain. Everybody who's involved is a volunteer. They're volunteering their money and their vacation to come and participate in the projects.
When we went in 2017, we knew we had a really deep cave, and then we came to water, and we absolutely were not expecting that. We're kind of like, holy crap, like what now? After that trip, we punch in the data and realize we are 0.5 meters short of the deepest cave in Canada. We were sitting at the pub just like, oh my God, now we just have to go back and get half a meter.
If you like the wilderness around and you like a quiet place, we have the mountain behind our house and the ocean in front. And yeah, it just gives us access to quite a backyard. It's a beautiful forest, but what is really interesting for us is what's under the roots. It's just an infinite playground for caves, and we are only just a few enjoying it, really. We're still in the volcanic rock, so all that rock, we call it shit rock. We don't like it, because when you see that, it probably means there is no caves around. But pretty soon we should start to see some limestone. All right, so limestone, there it is. When the rock is gray, and then you start to see the cracks, and then sometimes even you can see a hole, and I mean, it could be a cave entrance that exists. Sometimes right along the road there is a cave entrance, so that's what we are looking for and always chasing.
I don't want you blow, I don't want you blow, I don't want you blow your horn. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Someone's in the kitchen, I know. Someone's in the kitchen with Dinah. Strumming on the old banjo. Stick together, stick together. I help you. Whoo! 3 seconds, dude. 20 meters, 30 meters. Yeah. Rope free!
We've been looking for the longest cave in Canada for a while now. We are trying to break the record. I guess I didn't know when I started caving why I would like caving. I mean, I was attracted by the potential in terms of exploration, and that was the main driver. My wife, Anouk, and I, when we came from France 13 years ago, it was for work, and I've never been in a cave.
The way Frank discovered caving was we were just going for hikes. We found a few spots that were saying, oh, it's a cave. And then you try to ask people if they know about that place, and no one tells you.
And they're like, yeah, sure, there's caves, yeah, go find them if you can.
Oh yeah, it's just here, a small pass.
They probably knew we would fail to find them.
So then you look closer and you're finally finding the entrance of the cave.
That's definitely, piqued the interest about caves.
As Frank is someone very passionate, he wanted to go deeper and further, and I think I was not really ready for that.
Frank, I met him working in the bush together doing layout. He found a couple pits in his block, checked it out, and it was amazing, beautiful caves. We had bike helmets on, we'd put little headlamps on, we'd go underground.
We finish work at 4 p.m. and we take the car and just go chasing those caves all the time. It was kind of the joke of, we're the bike helmet crew.
We're just new guys who know nothing about it.
So then we try to talk to some people, and if you want to know more about caves, well, you should try to talk to Peter.
We heard of him from town, that he was the local caver. He's been caving since the 70s.
They came knocking on my door, actually, and asking about caves.
He's like, oh, you guys are cavers? It's like, oh, well, yeah, we're kind of.
I thought, well, if they're interested, I'll take them down to a couple of smaller caves and see how they do.
This will be the exploration movie.
Well, we first went into horizontal caves where Frank and Connor would climb around like monkeys.
My hand is shaking. Going in.
Obviously, they wanted to surge ahead and see what's ahead.
He taught us just about the cave systems up here and how to cave.
They got the hang of it pretty quickly, and then they bought vertical gear, they bought caving suits, they bought caving gear, and Bob's your uncle.
Yeah, maybe halfway down, you pull yourself to the rebellet and you clip your costal just around the beaten rope. Yeah, maybe something that worked.
Frank and I started at the same time, but he really took to it, and he's just skyrocketed his skill level.
He's an excellent caver, he organizes trips.
He was part of the team, finally. He was very happy about it.
He's probably the most driven caver in our little group on the North Island here. He's crazy for it.
We always seek to find new places. So like now we want to go on Mars, or we want to go back on the moon, and that's the appeal to me. It's just to be the first in that place.
It's a tube, it's opening up. Like we have to dig that fucking bank in. So
it's a sport where you don't have to be like an astronaut or any type of special person to discover new places.
What's it doing? What is it? What does it look like?
Anybody could essentially do it, and it's way more accessible than going on the moon. Like,
in a world that is so mapped, where, Google Earth, you can look at anything at any time, anywhere on the planet. Really, the last frontiers beyond space and the deepest ocean are caves. It's hard for people to grasp how little we understand about what's there.
Quickly after we got accepted in the group, we started to focus our efforts on the Argo system. It's composed of several caves, and mainly we talk about gloriole, resonance, and arch.
In the 40 years that the exploration's been going on in the Argo area, the thought was always there that it was always a connected system. In the last 10 plus years, things have grown closer and closer together and becoming more and more hopeful that that real connection will be there.
The closest points between arch and resonance, there was a passage that we've seen on one side, we've seen on the other side. It was so obvious that on the other cave, the tube was the same.
I think we could dig that shit.
I know.
It's going straight.
I know.
It's going straight into a fucking tube over there.
That was the first step into the longest cave in Canada.
There's two yardsticks that cavers generally look at when they're comparing caves, and one is the depth and the other is the length. And so the depth is pretty simple. That is the vertical distance between the mouth and the bottom of the cave. The longest cave is a bit more complicated because popular conception is that the cave is kind of like a subway tunnel. It's just this one line going straight into the mountain. But it's really more like a set of roots. It spreads out and there's multiple passageways. And the length of a cave is the sum of all those fingers and tendrils. And if cavers are able to connect two adjoining cave systems, it represents this massive increase in length.
Okay, I'm digging.
It's a tube filled with sediment, and 3 years ago, we start to dig in there. Just another day at the office. It's a tight office, though.
Why are we doing this? Unpaid forced work, completely stupid.
If we had to count how many hours, it's insane. It's thousands of hours between so many people involved in that dig over so many days.
Okay, bag is full.
It reminded me of the movie The Great Escape almost, like you're just digging your way out of jail.
With drag bags and shovels and hose and moving spoils like they were going out of style.
Bag.
Bag.
Frank's from Europe, and he loves the electronic music and everything. So whenever we dug to, ease boredom, we just pound electro music. So every time you're digging, it's just...
A classic Saturday.
It seems to be a very slight draft, but...
We saw the connection coming at one point. We couldn't see each other, but we start to hear each other.
It's good. It's good looking.
We had a smell connection because Rob was on the one side, Frank and I were digging on the other, and there was a meatball sub from Subway, and you could just smell that meatball coming through the passage. So then, of course, we knew it. It connected.
Is that you, Peter?
That's Peter.
Holy fuck it.
When you could see the hands of the person on the other side and start to see their shovels and lights.
Company day. Just wait, is this Arch Cave? This not anymore. This is a continuation of Arch Cave.
I don't fucking believe it, man. I can't really fucking grasp this. This is fucking hilarious.
Well, that's it. Like, we are connected, and this is one cave now.
Drinking at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Frank. Jesus, God. I mean, 9 on a bottle, I'm sure we'll be fine.
So that was a big milestone in the project because we just merged two large caves into one, and that became a 17+ kilometer long cave.
It sounded like the second longest cave in Canada.
That many people sitting in a little chamber and just reveling in the joy of making such a fantastic connection. I mean, we're not number one at this point, but number 2 in Canada is nothing to sneeze at.
And now we need to connect Glorial, which is the ultimate cave in the system that still separates from a human connection yet. But Glorial, once it's connected, that's when we're gonna have the longest cave in Canada.
Katie was always a bit of free spirit. She was adventurous and self-reliant. We We would often find her on the top of the garage or walking the tightrope on the top of the 6-foot fence. She'd climb anything. Katie's always been really focused. She used to get up early in the morning. She'd have her own breakfast. She'd warm the car up in the winter, make her dad's coffee and toast, and then get him to drive her to school. To go in those dark, wet places just seems very foreign, but it's something of the adventure that just attracts her to it. It's a true passion with her. I don't try and understand it. I just have to accept it, so.
That made me so uncomfortable until I realized you knew what you were doing. I thought this was going to become a rescue.
One of the most fun parts about caving with Katie is there's always a fun side to it. Even when it's serious, even when it's difficult, even when it's scary, Katie just brings this fun side to it, whether it's, sliding down the mountain on a poop emoji.
It's still alive! He didn't pop! We can do it again!
Making puppets out of dead rats.
Winter is coming.
You know nothing, Jon Snow.
Or, she's always, on an expedition, she's always got a little flask of something fun to keep spirits up, right? So she definitely brings that to the adventure.
Rodents of unusual size? I don't think they exist. Okay.
So the Bisaro project's been going for a long time now, and just in the last couple of years, they reached this low point that included the sump, and it came out that it was a pretty complex operation.
Many caves contain sumps, which basically, if you think of a pipe that is folded in a U shape, water accumulates in the bottom. The only way through is that they have to put on scuba gear and, in a very dangerous operation, find their way underwater to the other side.
My fixation's been this sump. It's kind of the problem that I need to solve. We needed 0.5 meters, but below the water, it looked really deep. I'm really hoping on the other side is it goes down and then it starts to come up, and then we'll get back into air passage.
It's a deep sump, it's very deep in the cave, and no one else has been training for that kind of exploration. All kinds of things can go wrong, anything as simple as equipment failure to actual emergencies, especially when you operate in as remote a place as Bisaro does. And I said, if you need backup, I'm willing to help you train. I'm willing to go into the cave and be backup diver, whatever she needs to help accomplish this goal.
Diving in caves is enormously dangerous.
If you suffer an equipment failure, you are in very big trouble because there is no air to breathe. Therefore, practice, strict rules, a clear plan are all required.
I'm trying to practice laying the silt screws, tying dive line onto it, just all the things that replicate the dive as much as possible.
The other big problem is finding your way out, because often there's lots of silt, and so you're laying this lifeline and attaching it to rocks as you go, and if you lose that, you're in a really horrendous situation. Because if you can't make contact with that lifeline again, essentially you have no way out of that water and your oxygen is going to run out.
She's put a lot of effort into preparing for this push. She's done a whole bunch of training, she's bought a whole bunch of gear, and it's super exciting for the rest of us to support this effort.
Deep caving is any cave that you're pushing so far down into that you end up spending a night or multiple nights. In the subterranean world, this involves a huge amount of effort.
I'm up, I can swap out for that 5th tank. As long as I only breathe down the one, I'm not going to go any over.
If it takes you 8 hours to get to work site and then 8 hours to get back, you can never accomplish anything. So we started camping in the cave so we can stay over a week. Robin, Adam, Katie, and Matt going and meeting. We've got multiple camps throughout the cave, and you need to know, like, this bag needs to go to this camp, this bag needs to go to that camp. Each of those camps can only accommodate a few people. You're trying to balance so many things because it's very remote. You need to bring everything that you need to eat, everything you might need for exploration. There's the inventory that we have already in the cave and then what we need to bring. So this is one breakfast and one dinner, another breakfast.
The name of the game with cave food is to make it calorie dense, so we make our own dried food.
So, Colin, you're labeling 2 more for Camp 2.
I shouldn't.
Does that look like a cookie? Maybe looks like what happens after the cookie. You have to eat it.
Yeah, like 2 hours we'll have all this surveyed.
You think so? You think in 2 hours we'll survey all that?
Yeah. So I think I went down, Frank, but there's something up trending here too.
Sorry. It's all about the depth of the cave and the length of the cave. To measure that, to get those numbers, well, we need to survey them. So that's when we are doing the mapping. You splay from here, yeah.
Just splay, but I don't have to set up like a leg here first.
No. Yeah. Start your splay from age 21.
There, you're on. Yeah.
Yeah, I got it.
I think mapping is a unique aspect to caving because on the surface, you know, when we're climbing a mountain, we know what's there. We can already see the summit. We know what the route looks like.
Yeah.
But in caves, no one just kind of sprints down it in this desire to see how far it goes, but they methodically map.
So if there is a good station at that junction, that would be good.
Okay, we'll try.
One common misconception is that we could maybe just use sonar or somehow remotely explore these subterranean passageways. And the truth is, none of that works underground. You can't penetrate this rock with sonar and find these open air spaces. You physically have to go there. It's the only way.
I ended up being the daddy of the data. The job of putting out the 3D models, it's a key part of the connections that we've made in the last couple of years, and I'm sure it'll be a key into what happens in the future. Back in about 2016, no one could figure out where in the cave they were from looking at the maps. That was the spark for me that said, I need to do something about this.
Dennis has been spending hours now to put that 3D model together.
Slowly, the 40 years of data is becoming one working 3D map so that you can see where you are in the cave and have a working atlas.
The ability to put all this data into a computer and form these models is really beneficial to cavers because you have a really accurate sense of how close you are to actually pushing those two pieces together.
The first option to connect is the upper connection. Either we try to connect from resonance, or we try to connect from the glory hole side.
The challenge on the glory hole side is an absolutely stupendous pit that needs to be climbed from the bottom up.
Hopefully we can reach some passage that eventually will head towards resonance.
Rock duo, at ease. Private. Looking at the 3D map, figuring out where you guys are gonna pop up.
Oh yeah?
You're getting close.
John is in the sleeping bag still? Or?
Yeah. No.
John, wake up! The guy for the bolt climb is John. He has his drill, and he's the guy that can bolt the fastest of all.
Okay, good luck, you guys.
Connection day.
Yeah, you never know. Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Just about the beginning of every caving trip, Frankie says, "Come on, let's go, it's connection day." or he'll text me, he's like, you know, you coming up caving this weekend? And then he'll text back right away, connection day. The issue is, when the water's high, it gets deep, like it's Vados.
Yeah.
It's very deep though.
But there is a problem. Like you'll get.
Look at the volume up there. Like it's just. Oh, this is nuts.
Oh, it's getting dark in here.
You know what they say about guys with bright lights, eh? No, it's true.
Run free!
Okay. Wait, you want me to go this way?
Yeah. Kind of fun.
You point to the left, but you tell me to go to the fucking right.
My favorite part.
My favorite part. I guess I know why we don't come here that often.
To get to the climb, there's a crawl just after one of the larger rooms towards the entrance. It does have the potential to flood. If the waters did get high enough, that probably would go right to the ceiling and would prevent anyone from going in or out. It would be not a fun time for sure. I was involved in the Cascade rescue a few years back. Some cavers had gone caving when the water levels were already high. They got to the bottom of the cave, and on their way back, they got stuck behind an area that's called Double Trouble. So the entire stream was passing through there to the point where they couldn't get through.
Keep coming. Come on, dude. Speed up towards me. Make the move. Come on. Okay? Keep breathing. Good. Now you're fucking there, okay? Dude, fucking Jake, fucking look at me, okay? You made it, all right?
I would be really desperate to try to get through something like that. So getting stuck behind a flooded passage is just something we wouldn't want to do. That's why just after the crawl, we do have a rescue cache, just in case that was to happen.
You get that one.
What is it? Food?
There is a bit of equipment. There's some sleeping bags and a little bit of food, but I mean, I don't think I'd want to spend a lot of time in there myself.
We're trying to do one thing, we're trying to connect, and we just do what it takes. And if it's a 50-meter bull climb, we just do it.
On rope.
Fuck, it's beautiful rock up there.
Ready?
Yeah, I would go like, and then stay on the nice wall there. No? Okay, well, it's good to work, I guess. Where's the dust?
You see it now?
I see it.
That's cave dust. Keeps you going.
I love bolt climbing because it is challenging, it's hard. I drill my hole, I make my placement, I hook onto it,
Yeah.
I yell down,
Okay, going up.
I move myself up, I drill a hole, clip in, drill a hole, clip in.
That was a stretch. That was a good one, buddy.
I can see in front of me a little hole. It's definitely horizontal passage, which is awesome because I've been doing nothing but vertical rock climb for 3 weekends. So finally it's like, wow, we got something here.
All right, I'm on rope.
Okay.
If it turns the way that we're all hoping, then it should lead us right to the residence.
Hey, John.
Can I get some more slack?
No. You stay here.
Oh, come on.
You stay here, John.
Slack.
Come here! Come back here!
Whenever we're going into passage,
Keep him on the leash!
he's got to keep me back. Because he's right. If I see open passage, virgin passage, I am like gone.
Where are you going, John?
I just can't help myself.
Need more slack.
You see something there?
And it goes down around the corner. I don't know what it's doing, and it goes up right here.
Crawling through, I got to the other side, and the passage, it is opened up. It was huge.
Just too much.
Well, let's go up.
But we have to go in this area, like right here.
Yeah.
And right now the passage is going there.
But it could be going that way once we get up high.
So it could turn, yeah.
It probably turns.
100% chance.
There's a 10% chance.
Usually
it'll turn.
It does what we think, huh?
We seem to have a lot of failures, but we seem to enjoy it. So I guess they don't really feel so much like failures. I guess we're still caving. We're still accomplishing something. We're just not making a connection.
Yeah, I'll have to come back. I guess it wasn't connection day after all.
It's close.
Tomorrow maybe connection day. I think, yeah, it's some sort of an addiction, I guess, because we look at that map and it's like, damn, there has to be another way.
They always talk about the longest cave in Canada. That's the main goal. It's just like, but I think it's what drives them a bit crazy about it. It's when everything started to change for me. It's when it's starting to cave more, like full days, 12, 14, 16 hours. It was not fun to me anymore. We had kids, and I started to worry a lot.
Caving is probably the slowest sport in the world. You know, it takes hours to go hundreds of meters. Quite often you get back late at night or early the next morning, and I was joking about it, telling him, "Oh, you'll be divorced before you know it, Frank. Your caving career will kill your married life."
So I always tell him, don't tell me what time you're coming home because I know it's going to be later than you said.
With the family, it's an issue, I would say. That's my fault because I should be a little bit more able to gauge all that and try to find the right balance. If we connect, that will be something definitely that will slow me down after that because I have to be there also. Well, for her and for the kids, we have young kids and their dad is working all week and then he's caving on the weekend and it's like, well, I mean, at one point we have to find the balance again.
Safe at home with his father and mother.
It's a tough balance when you have all those caves in the backyard. But like Peter said, they are here and they'll never move, so yeah, I should maybe listen to him a little bit more. It's like for all of us to go there, so we probably want to look at everything, but I mean, the main thing is to...
They wanted to go to the GLORP because there could be a possible connection to Glory Hole Cave, which is what we're trying to connect.
If you look at a map, we try to connect those two caves, but we are always trying from Glory Hole. Because from the other side, we have to go through the GLORP. And, like, we don't want to go through the GLORP.
You know what the GLORP stands for? You know what he was telling you? GLORP stands for gooey, lubricated, ooey rectal passage.
It's been 17 years no one has been through the GLORP, and there is only foggy memories of what the GLORP is.
Well, that's my writing, so that's my... I did the notes. Huh, here's my own... I haven't seen these for 20 years. I think I have a picture of somebody going through the squeeze in the GLORP. This is what you look like when you go... When we used to go through, you'd come out like that.
Peter is submerged in mud up to his shoulders, and Peter's a smiley guy, and even he wasn't smiling. I don't like real tight spaces, never mind when they're full of mud. But Peter's painted a pretty good picture, and yeah, it doesn't sound like it's going to be a good time.
We were just sliding down 100 miles an hour, you know, it's flash right in the bottom. Now it's just a big mess of mud. Yeah. It's probably still that way too, eh?
Oh yeah. When we ask Peter about what's on the other side of the GLORP, well, there is a photo of what they call the wedding cake. That's only the thing, like, well, if you go on the other side of the GLORP, you're gonna see the wedding cake. So, well, we can't wait to see the wedding cake then. That's it, it's happening tomorrow. And yeah, we're ready to go.
And see what they find.
The beginning of Resonance Cave is actually one of my favorite entrances.
Why it's called Resonance is reverberate sound. And it's kind of a tradition when you're going in there, you kind of sing or something.
I took my harmonicas into Resonance Cave because of the acoustics. They're phenomenal. And we goofed around. It all started with Adrian Duncan, and he decided that we should make a band, and we all should be cavers. So Adrian would write songs. I'd learn my harmonica bit, and they're about various subjects about caving. Dangerous Dick and the Duck Busters. A duck is a pool of water in a cave where you have to pretty well go through it, but there's still airspace. So duck busters are people who do that. We bust the duck.
I wasn't there at the time the band was formed, but he turned all that awful moments into something very funny and very sarcastic. And the songs are here to translate all kind of mood and stuff you go through while you're caving.
Down, down, down in the underground. If you hear a sound, don't turn around. There's lots of scary beasties all around the pots, but the caver is the strangest of the lot.
Yeah.
Do you have the duct tape with you?
Yeah, I got it here.
someone bought some expendable white suits.
We are going in Area 51 next.
We'd wear these so that when we got to the other side, we could take them off and we could try to keep the cave cleaner. We kind of look like the Ghostbusters.
Is this the bottom, Carl?
Well, it's the bottom of it. Yeah, it's gonna be an ugly one.
So the vomit comet, basically it's the drainage of the GLORP, and so it's all just mud and slick and slippery.
Getting a little bit more interesting by the meters here.
Cavers going ahead of you, they kind of disturb the water and the mud. And the sound of it too, like when you're going to the vomit comet, it literally sounds like a toilet flushing.
Yeah, this is crazy shit.
Moan, groan, whinging away, bitching and griping the whole
This is where I'm gonna get a fucking soaker. Both my socks are gonna get wet.
You're already grumpy. Your cavers complained. Why did the good Lord make water so wet? Getting soaked to the skin makes it hard to forget that if caving was meant to be our favorite thing, we'd be born wearing dry suits instead of our skin.
It's times like this I question why I want to spend my fucking Saturdays like this.
Cavers complain.
That's the tube that is going to the GLORP, yeah. Once we arrive at the GLORP, it looks fantastic. We realized basically you're just crawling into a digestive tube and you have a diarrhea.
It's getting deep here, guys.
Oh, this wasn't deep already?
No.
Oh.
No. Definitely not.
No need for restraint. Let's hear the rest of your cavers complain. Why do you always get choked up with mud? Go just a few meters and you're covered with crud. And that's when you're dry bagged and fell asleep. So when you eat lunch, there'll be mud on your teeth. Moaning and groaning and whining all day. If it weren't for the gripes, there'd be nothing to say. I've heard enough bitching to last for some time.
Easy peasy.
Complaints where the sun doesn't shine.
It's a boy!
Oh, it's fucking awful.
I don't know if it was an enjoyable moment, but definitely looking at each other, we were like, okay, this is ridiculous.
You're going through streamways and it's quite beautiful. Not a lot of people have seen that side of resonance.
Is that the wedding cake? We reached that room where there is the wedding cake, and the wedding cake is just there sitting, and it takes a bit of time to realize on which angle is sitting and try to see that picture that everybody saw, and because that's the only picture we have from that side. The famous wedding cake is right here in front of us.
It's like creamy, yeah? Creamy moon milk fieldstone.
The main objective was to explore, or re-explore at least the known passage.
It's pretty wet here, huh? Like slippery.
We went straight to where we felt the lead was.
Is there something, John, or?
It just plugs here.
When we got to the bottom, Frank and I quickly discovered that definitely it was plugged. It wasn't going to be our connection.
This is so fucked up though.
Yeah, I felt like there was a
because
draft in here.
this is like Glorial is like this way, like right there. There is nothing obvious, nothing that tells us the connection is imminent on that side. So at that point, we just decide to turn around.
God damn this cave. Why does it just give us a connection? Just do it. Oh well.
We finally assembled the team. People that are strong, talented in multiple things. So I was just really excited to go back and do it right. I wanted to dive that sump and get the deepest cave in Canada.
My goal was to help Katie achieve her goals, and I wanted her to do it as safely as possible. One of the risks that we run into in exploration is when you put a lot of effort into an expedition, you can feel obligated to push. And I felt that Katie was getting on the verge of pushing harder than she should, and I wanted to give her some backup.
You can only really take one bag with you. I can take 3 down, I don't care. Do you guys want me to take 3?
I don't know how many is there.
There is 9 here. No, 7.
2, 4, 6, 7.
7.
Extra
Why
beaner
don't
for
I-
this?
Why don't I leave this one and
Yeah.
take the tank?
Awesome. Are there 2 tanks there?
After 6 hours with more than 40 pounds, people start to get pretty drained. You're asking people to haul your delicate dive gear. It's heavy, it's awkward, and it's got to be moved through kilometers of passage. The bag is just like the worst burden of your life. There's always double the bags that you thought there would be, and you're like, where did all these bags come from?
We almost at 45?
Yeah, because, it's just like a little bit of this nonsense, and then we get up into double barrel. Pulling.
Oh, it's so nasty.
Oh, gross. It's like scooping it up. I'd say it is a liquid clay bath that lets you wallow in your misery. My hobbies would suggest that yes, I like the suffering of type 2 fun. I like this reward that comes at the end of the struggle. So most things I do are sort of some version of suffering.
If you're thinking that camping in a cave is like camping out in the wilderness, you'd be pretty off for what it's like in Bisaro.
That one's not so wet. Camping in a refrigerator on a bed of boulders. It's not the most luxurious camp.
Get the old dinner coat on, hey? It's lobster night, isn't it?
This looks deluxe, huh? I don't even know what's in here. Look at that.
Everybody just wants to get in their bed because that's the only time you're really warm.
Setting up the penthouse suite here. Setting up a hammock.
In Bisaro, we do leave our sleeping bags and our sleep sets in the cave permanently. This is because it's so challenging to get them there in the first place. So it's always a bit of a question mark when you get to camp if your sleeping bag's going to be a little bit wet or stinky, but you can usually dry it out by sleeping in it.
There's literally no way to dry anything down here except for your own body heat, which means that if you want your clothes to dry, you literally have to wear them to bed wet. So there's really no avoiding the wet. I'm literally sitting or laying.
You're in the underground drainage of a past ice age. It's a hard place to spend a week.
Camping underground comes with the complexities of going to the bathroom underground. Because of the temperature of the cave, we can't leave anything behind because it stays there permanently. It's a refrigerator. So everything that we take underground, even the poop, has to come back out of the cave with us.
It's one of those things people don't really want to talk about, but crapping in a Ziploc bag and hauling it out is a talent and something special.
So you go to the bathroom, your waste goes into a bag, and that bag goes into a container, and that container goes into your backpack, and that backpack comes out of the cave. So the whole process overall is not pleasant, but necessary.
So how was it? The Ziploc bag unfolded on me halfway through, mid-flight.
Oh boy.
And we had a little hang fire. It was managed with my 12 sheets of toilet paper. On that note, let's go caving.
Yeah, that's kind of the way.
Probably the next big challenge is called the Heil squeeze, which is quite a tight spot.
I think I might have supposed to go that way. Okay.
We have a lot of equipment to haul with us down through the cave, and everything's got to go through that one tight squeeze.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Sometimes it means unpacking our bags to pass the pieces through one at a time and then repacking on the other side.
Take the shit out of that one up.
Give me 1 sec.
Do you want to come back out, or what do you want to do? Want to try to go through? Good job.
I got it.
Yeah, good job. Crushed that one.
When you're exploring downwards, there's this part of you that is always thinking, oh, I have to go back up. I have to make it back to camp. If something goes wrong, it's going to be really hard to get back up to the surface. Whenever you're under pressure, when you put yourself under pressure to chase after your objective, there's always the risk that you're going a little too hard.
It's soaking wet, and we're moving really slow. On day 2 of the expedition, we were already kind of like behind schedule, and you could just see in their faces like they were exhausted, like they had already been punched in the gut. Holy shit, like, how do I get this back on track? So like, okay, I need to pick it up. I need to pick it up here and start moving bags.
Fuck. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah.
In a deep cave, you don't just call a rescue. We are the rescue. There's nobody else that's coming. I'm so deep in the don't fuck up zone, and I just fucked up.
As you progress deeper and deeper into the cave, you are really becoming highly isolated. You often hear analogies about it's like going to very high altitude in the Himalayas. And I would say a rescue from deep in a cave is more difficult than a rescue at high altitude. And really your survival at that point is dependent on the support of the small team that's with you right then.
I just rolled it and it kind of felt like something was beside something that wasn't supposed to be.
I think you should get to 1.5 and get into a sleeping bag before you go hypothermic. Okay, so are you guys good to work with Katie back to 1.5?
Yeah. I'm in pain, but it's manageable if I don't step on it. So I realized that I'm gonna have to crawl out of the cave, so it's gonna take a long time, and I need to not be more of a burden than I already am.
It's impressive to think of Katie getting out of the cave on her own. It's hard to convey how difficult that would be with 2 legs, let alone 1.
How was your journey?
I don't know, I started going down a bit today.
Nice work. So over the course of 3 days, Katie was able to make her way out of the cave.
How's the ankle?
It's okay.
Oh, man.
From the way she was able to move on the ankle, we just assumed it was a sprain or a strain.
We flew off the mountain, and then we go to the pub and have a burger. And then we went to the hospital, and they did an x-ray, and they said to come back tomorrow morning for surgery because it was broken and needed a bunch of plates and pins.
I think she earned extra kudos from the team members knowing that she got out on her own steam with a broken ankle. She's a bit of a legend in the caving club now.
I think why people get crazy about caving is just, it's addictive a little bit. What is special here, just everything is new. So it's more about being the first one, discovering new things. And just always wanted to go further, to discover more. I do understand from just a little bit I've been able to do is you see a path and you don't know what is next. You always want to go further. And so it's very exciting. I could tell him not to go caving anymore, and he would probably do it, because I think he cares, but then I know he would be unhappy. So I chose to let him do what he wants, so he can be happy.
It's really easy to say, why on earth are cavers doing this? Like, does it have any meaning? One thing about humans is that we can have all our needs met. We're clothed and housed and fed. And normally, most other species at that point are satisfied. But we now, at that point, go and burrow down into the earth or climb mountains or, zip through space to other planets because there's something deep inside us about wanting to know what's around the next corner.
We're a curious species. We want to do more than survive and reproduce. We want to keep ourselves interested and excited.
What we see in cavers, this curiosity, this willingness to suffer, this interest in pushing the limits, is the kind of factor in humans that has allowed us to kind of advance our society and our technical understanding and our geographical understanding to live as we do.
Ou en dessert. Je sais que tu es Maria, mais c'est pas l'heure de manger de bonbons.
I try to cave like what I think is reasonable, which is 1 weekend out of 2. It's one of the rare sports, at least, that I've done where we just keep talking about it when we're outside the cave, and if I found a new cave, so right away I'm like, damn, I need to go there this weekend, and it's like, well, I can't go with the kids.
Hop, hop, hop. Hop, hop, hop. Ouh, là, il fait froid.
Yeah, it's a tough balance.
Oui, c'est cool. Tu vois les sacs de glace? Regarde.
So I say, well, once it's connected, maybe I'll just stack down, but I guess the connection is something tough to get.
Et l'eau, et qui est dedans?
De quoi? Qui dedans quoi? We are about to leave from Port McNeill.
Dans la grotte?
In a couple months, and to maybe re-establish some sort of a balance with the family is to sail back to France. So we are just in the process of buying a boat, a sailboat. We plan to leave next spring, basically. I think hopefully we can turn that into like very valuable time with the family and some sort of a reconnection. I mean, I can't get away from the boat and go caving on the weekend, so it's unfortunately it will come to that where I probably have to cut it right off. We'll have to find a quick connection. Something that can be done in a couple trips. Time is running out, but I know I'm getting close now because we found something new.
Franck was at the bottom of Residence Cave, and down at the sump he found little orange particles of rope. When he came out of the cave, he contacted me, and he's like, where would this come from? And I was thinking, well, there's only place we use orange rope in a while was Glorio.
Now winter came along, the water levels came way up, and the water just rushes through those caves, demolishing any ropes in the way. And lo and behold, we found bits of this orange rope in the bottom of Arch Cave and in the bottom of Residence Cave.
So basically we found it in all the sumps at the bottom of the Argo system.
It proves that the water at least connects somewhere because we found the orange rope in all 3 caves.
Maybe we can connect those caves from the bottom this time. For the longest time on the Arch map, there was a tiny portion of the survey with a little label said sump, dive for 1 kilometer. But Peter knew that 1 kilometer was a mistake and it was actually 100 meters. So we really start to look for information about that dive because if some people dove in Arch before, we need to know what they were looking for and what they found. A bit of digging was done to understand who was involved because all I heard from Peter was, oh, it's a bunch of French guys. Eventually, after spending times to go through all the Canadian caver, we found in one of the old version a report from that dive. And the person involved was Daniel Caron.
Franck thought about it, actually, why don't we contact Daniel Caron and talk to him about the dive?
He replies, and I'm like, okay, wow, look, he's here. The main thing that he remembered is they turn around because he ran out of line, of dive line. So the thing actually keeps going. Maybe we can connect those pieces from the bottom this time. Okay, so we need to send someone back there.
Here's my bed. And then the dog sleeps there.
If we want to get that dive connection, we'll need a lot of people and a strong diver. because the dive itself, it's a technical dive, it's dangerous, but there is a cave diver in the US that was available to do that dive. We can rally a whole bunch of people from the island and they will come. You need strong people, you need people that knows what they are doing on ropes, that knows the caves, and we talk about heavy bags of equipment to carry and get the diver set to do his dive. Basically, the trip consists of bringing 7 bags, that's all the equipment the diver needs for that dive, down to the bottom of Arch Cave.
And see if we can connect the bottom of Arch Cave with the bottom of Glory Hole Cave.
Down like this.
Yeah. You're like, oh, you just walk. Fuck, that's it.
Can you leave that?
Oh. I told you it was heavy. That's fucking ridiculous. All right. There's 2 D-rings back here. The front one wiggles.
Yeah.
And the back one does not.
Yeah.
It goes on the back one.
Okay. The pink.
The pink
attachment.
Bolt snap. Yep.
I'm just clipping pipes and bottles to his harness, and it's just like...
Just push?
Yeah, they should push together and click.
Okay.
Okay, take that clip, take that strap, and I'm trying to do my best, but really I don't know what I'm doing. To be honest, it was a bit of a scary moment because that guy is about to go where absolutely no one can follow him. If anything happens, he's on his own.
330? Okay. Good luck.
This is crazy. This is crazy. Yeah, this is crazy. Fuck. The only thing we see is the dive line moving, and we know basically, okay, he's alive, the line is moving.
I probably got halfway through my sandwich and he was there.
So, I made it to the end of Daniel's line, 25 meters past where he went, but then I gotta wiggle through something that's like half this height. It's not possible to go up in dive gear, so I surveyed my way back.
Good job, buddy.
I'm glad I'm staying here for the rest of my life so I can explore that system. Fucking shit.
You are?
I'm not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of fucked, really. You're leaving one of the largest cave in Canada, and it's like basically all yours.
I know. Don't even start me on that, John.
I know.
In terms of connection, it's basically like a failure. But there is one other option. There is another sump in the cave in Resonance, and for us, it hasn't been even an option to think about bringing a diver there because it's too complicated. If we can bring a diver, well, we can bring a drone, and luckily the film crew, they had a drone available for that.
Excited?
Yeah.
Robot connection. The machines are taking over.
No, it's our ultimate push, basically. It's like, okay, if it's too hard to bring the human, well, we'll bring the robot. I'm the optimistic in the group, so I'm 95% sure.
95?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think we're good. Let's just go. That's it. So another crew will be waiting on the other side.
Myself and Aaron went in on the Gloriole side, and we waited there for the drone to come to us.
Here, droney. Here, drone.
Okay, you're at 20 meters now. Yeah, the cable is going. Oh my god, you're covering distance here. The theoretical distance between the two sumps was about 60 meters. Okay, that's 55. And you shouldn't be super far now. I mean, it's 55. I'm almost getting to 60 and...
Does that sound like water, like little propellers underwater?
Whoa. Whoa! Whoa! Look at that! Whoa! Holy shit! No way! Oh, no.
Right. No, it's just
no, this is air.
It's a bubble of air and it's the light from the drone.
Jesus.
False alarm. False alarm.
Okay, look at this. The cable just doesn't want to follow.
No, it's just too much drag on the cable, on the tether. We are probably not too far.
It's really hard. I mean, I don't know what to do. Pulling hard on the cable at some point, it's just gonna break it. I did my best, guys.
Okay.
I think this is it.
So we're just a few meters potentially away?
Probably.
Caving is a bunch of disappointments until you reach your goal.
Well, it's
Ah, man. Well, lots more work to do. Lots more work.
I was out for about 4 weeks. When the skin healed, then I was kind of back moving and doing stuff. So the conclusion of that expedition was that I had an objective not achieved, so then I was just like kind of hyper-focused on getting back to it and kind of getting this thing done.
I don't always know exactly what happens on the expeditions. She tends to wean me slowly to the truth. Oftentimes, I'll know about what happened, but I don't know until I read articles the whole truth.
How was it getting out of the cave?
It was actually, I don't know, it's totally fine.
This is not surprising at all.
Well, they're just like making such a big deal out of it. But like it turns out, you don't like walk very much anyway.
It's fine. I'm just gonna need a few screws.
I don't like it when she breaks her legs or gets trapped in caves, but I can't stop her.
I wanted to dive that sump. We needed 0.5 meters. So we pulled it together and went down, I think at Thanksgiving. It took us 2 days to get to the bottom. I'm standing in a dripping waterfall, trying to rig ropes with it, wearing my wetsuit, so I can go for a swim at the bottom of the cave on Thanksgiving. What the fuck is wrong with my life? So I start kind of prep the gear, and one of the tanks was totally empty. It was just like, oh my God. It only has a third left. So it's like, it's not empty, but it's not very useful. The effort it takes to haul a scuba tank 3 kilometers of crawling and get all the way to the bottom and realize that it's not useful, it's totally empty. But you're like, we're in there, you got one shot, so we've got to do as much as I can.
If she does dive through and end up on the other side, we don't really know what we're going to find. It's a new level of the cave. It could be small, it could be huge.
So, yes.
But that's only a small part of the story. It's not entirely just about being the first person to be somewhere. There's way more to it than that. Exploration is fundamentally a personal journey. There's the process, the effort, the people, and the sense of hardship and relief when it's all over. It all adds up to this like incredible, intoxicating mix that you get addicted to.
It can't end like this.
Hey, Katie, let's get the fuck out of here.
All right. I was so fixated on getting that deepest cave in Canada marker. I achieved that, but I was devastated that the tank was empty and I couldn't really do a complete dive. So I've been dreaming of that tube taking all this water. That is a limit of what I know, right? What I've seen, and then you're like, what happens beyond that?
With caving, you inevitably end by reaching a dead end. There isn't that moment of standing on the summit and taking the view. You've basically gone deeper and deeper and deeper into the earth and reached a dead end, and then you're gonna crawl back out.
I wish I could be part of the connection. I'm going away, and that's part of like what life is. And maybe someone else will do that connection. I'll just have to make my peace with that I won't be part of the connection, and that's fine too.
It's hard to find somebody that will spend 18 hours with you, getting cold and muddy, getting out of cave at 4 o'clock in the morning and being happy about it, and can't wait. Ask me when are you gonna come back? Yeah, it's gonna be hard finding somebody to do that.
you hear a sound, don't turn around. There's lots of scary beasties all around the pots, but the caver is the strangest of the lot. The North Vancouver Island cave mosquito, well, it's as big as a pig, but it can fly. And once it sinks a stinger in, you'll be a dried up bag of skin, and you can kiss your cave.